from Bob Nightingale was about the Padres internally leaning towards trading Juan Soto. Internally leading towards trading Juan Soto while trying to slash payroll by 50 million. And this is what Kevin Acee has said. I think there's been some other people that have said this as well about the Padres, and they want to trim the payroll. And it makes sense. Losing season, you need to get under the luxury tax threshold. To be honest, I'm not going to act like I know about the MLB debt relief thing that gets talked about. I'll probably do some research on that in the offseason. I'm not going to act like I know about that, though. Why the Padres are in trouble and all that. But I know they need to be under the 237 luxury tax number for next year because they're over it this year and they're going to be paying other teams, I believe. Like they're part of the revenue. What is it called? The revenue sharing thing. So yes, they need to trim payroll. I get that, but $50 million, that's a lot. Now, it's easier if they trade Juan Soto, and that's why this Juan Soto stuff is obviously going to be coming up here because it's $30 million. The Padres, they're looking to trim payroll. That's $30 million right there, and they could go sign someone cheap or get someone back that they could stick in there in the outfield. And there's a lot of money there that you just saved with the other guys that are coming off the books, like Drew Pomerantz, $10 million. Maybe Waka, maybe Martinez, maybe Lugo, guys like that. Gary Sanchez, the deadline additions, right? Yeah, I mean, you trade Soto, you're going to get under that. You're going to reach your goal. But this Padres team, they need to try to win next season. And Jeff Passan the other day, right? He brought up the point: is this Padres team a World Series team with Juan Soto? I don't think so. That's what Jeff said. But I mean, you had MLB.com experts and all that thinking that the Padres were going to win the World Series this year before the season started with Juan Soto on the team, and Juan Soto was a big reason why you had people thinking that. Like, you can't convince me that this Padres team has a better shot at winning, definitely a better shot at being more productive offensively with Juan Soto off the team and player X in left field over Juan Soto or a DH over Juan Soto. Like, this was a down year, probably a little bit for Juan Soto, and he's still a top 10 offensive player. He might get top 10 MVP votes still, and it was a down year, a little bit of a disappointing season. He got off to a terrible start, didn't have a good month of August. So I want to give that guy a shot. I want to give this team a shot with the big four: Tatis, Soto, Manny, Bogarts. I want those guys in the lineup. I want Cronenworth back healthy. I want Kim in there. I want to give it a shot in 2024. If it doesn't work out by the trade deadline, it doesn't work out. And you might not get a whole lot back for Juan Soto, but someone would go get Juan Soto off your hands for sure. Even if he's having a down year, they would get him off your hands because it's Juan Soto. So the Padres internally leaning towards trading Soto, that's disappointing. If that's correct. Again, consider the source. It's Bob Nightingale. With all due respect to Bob, he has gotten some things wrong. And I definitely understand that. But he is a national reporter, and he has gotten some things right in the past as well. And if they're internally leading towards trading Soto, I mean, then how can you sell that to the fan base, right? Let's say Melvin goes. Let's say you trade Soto and season ticket prices increase. How are you going to sell that to the fan base? Like, that's the good thing. It's good that Soto got traded. It's good that your season ticket prices went up. Like, how are you going to sell that? Bob Melvin's not here. He's managing in the other dugout. You're going to sell that to Padres fans? How can you? You can't. Especially if, like, AJ remains and he hires a rookie manager and Bob Melvin goes to the Giants. Juan Soto gets traded. How are you going to sell, World Series is the expectation? I mean, that would be a pretty hard sell, I think. So I don't think they should be leaning towards trading Soto. If they're leaning towards trading Soto, that's because they have to get under $200 million. Probably. Like, that's like the mandate from Peter Seidler or something. like they or Major League Baseball. I don't know. Like I'm not gonna act like I'm this genius in the financial stuff with payroll and all that. But this is to only get, and I said this on social media today when I tweeted that part out from Nightingale. Only getting 1 year of Juan Soto, one postseason run, I should say, not 1 year, but only getting one postseason run from Juan Soto, and that wasn't even in the full season that you had him. That would be so disappointing. You traded James Wood, Robert Hassel III, Garland Susanna, Mackenzie Gore, CJ Abrams, Luke Voigt, but I'm talking about like top prospects, really young, really talented players. I might be forgetting one other guy. You traded so much talent for Juan Soto for 3 pennant races, and you can't get it this year. So try next year. 1 pennant race with Juan Soto, and that was with Tatis not on the team. That was with Bogarts not on the team. That would be so disappointing. Talk about losing a trade. If they don't get a World Series with Juan Soto, they have lost the trade, right? As of now, they have lost the trade. To not even see it through, not even give it a chance, I would be so disappointed in that. And again, it's like it would just be another bad look on the franchise. Some would think that it's a good look because they're looking towards the future and they're like, no, you could get a good, it's a better return than you'll get back at the deadline. But what if the Padres are winning really? They're winning a lot of games at the deadline and they're going to be in the postseason. Like you can tell at the deadline, and you have Juan Soto on your team. Then you can have him for that postseason run. It goes back to like regrets. I don't want Peter Seidler to have a regret. Man, I allowed AJ to trade all of this for Juan Soto, and now I'm stuck sitting here laying in bed, before I go to sleep each night, thinking to myself, what if we had Juan Soto? What if? What if we gave it that shot in that third season? What if? What if? What if? I don't want him to regret that. If he tells AJ, like, no, Juan Soto can't be traded, or he puts his foot down to whoever is running it, Juan Soto's not getting traded. You're keeping him. I will pay him the $30 million. At least at the end of next season, he can sit there and be like, well, at least we tried. We gave it our full effort with Juan Soto. But if you don't have Juan Soto in 2024 to start 2024, you didn't give your full effort with Juan Soto. You didn't, because you had a season left on that contract. And this year was considered probably a little bit of a down year for Soto. And next year, in 2024, he's going to be in a walk year. You think he's not going to be motivated to have a ridiculous season or be motivated to win because of how embarrassing this season was? Of course. Of course he's going to want to be the MVP of the National League if he's on the Padres, or MVP of wherever he goes. So that's a guy I want on my team, and that's a guy that other teams are not going to want to face. So again, it goes to the regrets. I don't want regrets. I want them to try to see this through, see what can happen. Because this year sucked, but that doesn't mean that next year is going to suck.